What's happening, family? Adrian back with another video. I wanted to talk to y'all real quick about boundaries and the narcissist. And I had a real funny story from my sister. She actually gave me a call earlier this week, and she had a story that I felt like wouldn't trigger anybody too much on this channel. I know a lot of you guys are in different levels of your healing journey, and what I'm about to talk about can be dangerous, but in this situation, it was immature and childish, but it didn't rise to the level of danger. And I'm hoping not to trigger anybody with what I'm about to say. But in this instance, because I know both parties involved, and there was no, there was definitely malintent, but there was no harm. There was no real huge harm involved. It was like a controlled situation. But first, I want to invite each and every last one of you guys, if you are new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all for continuing to rock with the channel. I got to get that out the way. But let's get to this phone call. So my sister calls me earlier in the week, and like I said, we had already been talking about the narcissist kind of pressing against your boundaries. So because we had already been talking about that, I guess it kind of triggered my sister to, like, when this happened, she called me and like let me know what happened in the story. So basically, she has been broken up from her ex-husband for nearly 7 years now, probably going on 8 years now. So I think they were, I think they broke up in 2014, but now it's 2022. So basically, I never knew about narcissism at all, but I knew that he had a lot of issues, and there were a lot of things that happened in their relationship that like just didn't make sense. And we all knew that there was something wrong. There was something going on with him, but we didn't know, or I didn't know at that time, what narcissism was. And then I had my experience with dating a narcissist, and then I had this big epiphany where I started learning about narcissism and narcissistic abuse, and I found all of this information online. And so I'm thinking that this is something like foreign to my sister. So I called her, and I was talking to her about gaslighting and all of that kind of stuff. And as soon as I said gaslighting, she like knew what it was. And then I started asking her about a few other things, and she was like, knew exactly what it was. And I was like, wait a minute, you knew about narcissism? Like, why didn't I know about this? And I'm asking, like, how long have you known about narcissism? Because, and she's like, oh yeah, I've known for a while. And I'm like, wow, so why you never told me? And it's like, she was kind of explaining like, well, it's one of those things that you can't really explain until you go through it. Like, and when somebody goes through it, they'll realize like, okay, something's not right here. And she's like, it's hard to explain to people that have never gone through it. And when she said that, I kind of like looked at my situation, and I'm like, I get it. But I felt a lot more relieved because she could relate to me. So when I started to open up about my story, my sister was one of the first people that I could actually tell everything that happened, and she understood. She understood everything that I was saying in my situation because she had already been through it, and I didn't realize that that's what she had been through. I just knew her husband had his little issues when they were married, and then he continued to have his issues later on. But anyway, so she basically was talking about pressing against boundaries. And like I said, they have been broken up for nearly 7 going on 8 years. So he takes it upon himself to go and pick their daughter up. They have a daughter that they share. He goes and picks the daughter up, and he walks her home from school. Seems harmless at that point. Okay, cool. Gets to the house. Now, he has not lived with my sister since 2014. My sister recently started dating another guy. This new guy was over at the house, and one day her husband pops up, or her ex-husband pops up to the house, and he says he wants to see the kids. He sees the new guy in there, and I guess even though they have been broken up for 7 years, my sister hasn't really dated or anything like that since then. So this is like the first time that he's seen a new guy around. And so it kind of like shocked him and blew his mind. And I guess because of that, he started kind of going out of his way to make himself more available. And he would like now, because there's a new guy in the picture, now he always wants to come around. Now he always wants to be in the mix. Now he's always trying to, you know, control the environment, basically. So he ends up going to pick his daughter up from school, and he walks her home. But I guess in his sense of entitlement, he felt like, well, this is my daughter, this is my ex-wife, so I can invite myself into her house while she's not home. My sister was at work, so my niece, she's 13 years old. She really doesn't, you know, she's very mature for her age, but she doesn't, you know, have the authority to invite her dad in without my sister's permission. That's, you know, that's kind of like the rules of their house. So my niece, you know, she's just thinking like, okay, this is my dad. You know, it's harmless. It is what it is. So nobody's home. It's just me and my dad. So she lets him in. He comes in, and not only does he come in, which was violation number one, like you overstepped that boundary for even crossing the threshold without getting my sister's permission. And that's how she was kind of feeling. Like, how you just gonna go in my house without, you know, getting my permission? But my sister has, you know, cameras on her alarm system and all of that kind of stuff. So she had already known that he was in the house and all of that kind of stuff. So that's why I said it was kind of like a controlled situation, because she knew that he was there. She saw it on the security camera and all of that kind of stuff. But the funny part was, while he was there, he takes it upon himself to go in the refrigerator, makes a sandwich, sits on her couch, turns on Netflix and watching comedy specials and all of that kind of stuff. And he actually had the audacity, like when my sister called and was like, hey, what's going on? He's like, oh yeah, man, I just made a sandwich, and you know, man, I didn't know you had all these channels on your Roku and all of this kind of stuff. I was in here watching comedy specials. I was in here watching Leslie Jones, man. I was in here cracking up and this, that, and my sister's like looking at him like, are you serious? Like, you just going, first of all, invite yourself in my house, make a sandwich, and then turn on my TV and just start watching comedy specials? Like, are you serious? Like, how you, like, in what world is that okay? We haven't been together in over 7 years. And not only that, you know, I have another guy in the picture. So what would make you think that that's okay? Like, what if the other guy was here? What if, you know, any of that kind of stuff? And that's what she was kind of talking about the narcissist kind of pressing up against your boundaries. And they actually feel like they still own you, even though they're out of the picture. Like, he has a whole nother girlfriend that he's living with. She knows about that. Like, my sister knows about all of this. But the narcissist in that situation, like her ex-husband, tries to play it off like, well, you know, me and her not really together. I'm just staying at her house and all of that kind of stuff. So he wants to still have control of both households. He wants to be at the new girl's household, but then he wants to still control what my sister is doing in her household. Now, again, I don't want to trigger anybody, because I know there may be some similarities in that story that played out in a more dangerous way in somebody else's story. But like I said, this was kind of in a harmless situation, but I definitely encourage you guys to not let, you know, set firm boundaries, especially if you have kids. Like, you got to let the kids know to not let the narcissist in your house, because they will literally be going through all your stuff and all of that kind of stuff just because they feel like they can. So I just wanted to drop that video for y'all real quick because it was something that was kind of hilarious to me, just because nothing actually happened. It was just kind of funny that he took it upon himself to go and make a sandwich. He took it upon himself to like kick his feet up, watch the comedy specials and all of that kind of stuff. So I thought that was kind of funny, but yeah, just be careful, man. Like, just be extremely careful out here. These people don't, like, they are completely insane. So I will chop it up with y'all later. That's my video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And like I said, if y'all are new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And let's just keep our foot on let's keep our foot on their neck. I'll talk to y'all in a minute.